Hello and welcome to another match preview on Football Talk Podcast. My name is Ozzie and I'm your host for the show. Now, the international break is finally over and some good news for us Liverpool fans as well as Premier League fans. This will be the last international break until March, I believe. So we now have around 4 months of football without any disturbance. Actually, just thought of something. AFCON will be taking place from January, but I think you get my drift. The Premier League is back, and what a way to kick off match week 13 with two of the big hitters in the league, and that's Man City versus Liverpool. Now, in terms of head-to-head at the Etihad, Liverpool don't have a great record in the Premier League. Last season, we beat City 1-0 at Anfield. Mo Salah was the match winner there, but then City thrashed us 4-1 at the Etihad in April, I believe it was. Salah scored again in this fixture, taking the lead, but City bounced back from behind, scoring goals left, right, and centre. Goal scorers on the day were Alvarez, Kevin De Bruyne, Gundogan, and Grealish, who was really good in that game. So the last time we actually beat Man City at the Etihad in the Premier League was 21st of November 2015, where we won 4-1 as well. So it's been practically 8 years since we've won at the Etihad. So this is a great opportunity for the Reds to change that this coming Saturday. In terms of both teams have been in great form so far this early in the season. City, who are currently top of the league, recently drew to Chelsea in an unbelievable game that ended 4-4. Their total tally in the league is 9 wins, 1 draw, and 2 defeats with 28 points. Liverpool are just behind in second with 27 points. In their last fixture, they beat Brentford 3-0. So our season tally is 8 wins, 3 draws, and 1 defeat. City are also topping the top scorer chart, which is no surprise, with Erling Haaland scoring 13 goals so far this season. But second is Mo Salah with 10 goals, which may be a surprise to some, but I'm sure it won't be for majority of us Liverpool fans. But in the assist chart, Doku has the highest assist from a City player point of view. He has 5 assists. He pretty much got 4 in one game. And for Liverpool, which is a surprise, actually Darwin Nunez, he has 4 assists to his name. An interesting stat, especially for people that haven't really watched Darwin Nunez in a proper match rather than just watching highlights. He's really improved his link-up play this season. So the outcome is there for everyone to see. He's got 4 assists so far this season. So during the show, I'll present the team news so we know who's out and who's available in this fixture. Then I'll present the predicted lineups for both teams and analyze how both teams will set up tactically and what they need to do in terms of stopping opposition, but also who are the danger men, which will be no secret, but it's still good to understand who our opponents could be in the open. Let's talk about Man City. So they've got quite a long injury list. Erling Haaland picked up an injury for Norway during international duty, so he will face a late fitness test tomorrow. Ederson also picked up an ankle injury, so he is 50-50, but I expect him to start, to be fair. Ake and Sergio Gomez are doubts, but will be assessed tomorrow. And you've got the likes of Kevin De Bruyne, Stones, Kovacic, and Matheus Nunez, who are not available for this fixture. For Liverpool, Robertson, Thiago, Matic remain out of action with long-term injuries. There will be late fitness tests on a few players, including Gravenberch, Joe Gomez, Curtis Jones, and Konate. Alisson, Nunez, Diaz, and McAllister are available for this fixture, but their selection may not be as straightforward as they're all returning from South America, and due to the amount of traveling that they've done, they may not start straight away in this game as it's an early kickoff on Saturday, but remains to be in terms of who starts for us. So what I'll do is I'll go on the basis of who's available and I will predict the lineup for both teams. And let's start with Man City. So let me share a graphic with you guys and then we can start with Man City. So interesting in terms of their formation so far this season. So they've predominantly played a 3-2-4-1, which is the shape you're currently seeing on the screen right now. But they've also played 4-2-3-1 in some games. They've played 4-3-3 as well. They've beaten Newcastle, Man United using 4-2-3-1. They lost to Arsenal playing a 4-3-3, but I think that was down to Rodri being suspended for that fixture. So I feel like they tried to shut up shop with the midfield and try to play a bit more free-flowing football, but it didn't work for them on that occasion. But I have a feeling they're going to go for a 3-2-4-1 formation against us because, one, they're at home, and I think they'll want to flood the midfield and reduce the space for Liverpool in order to avoid us dictating the game. Now, we all know Liverpool's midfield is completely different to last season's. We have energy, pace, and we have technicians in our midfield now. So a different ball game. Whereas last season, we had the likes of Henderson, Fabinho, who didn't really have the legs to move around the pitch. So it was pretty much an easy match for them last season when they pretty much walked all over us. So let's go through a lineup and let's see how I feel like they will tactically set up and what kind of variations of play that they'll present going down the game. So obviously, I mentioned Ederson has a knock. I believe it's an ankle injury, but I feel like he'll start this game. If it's a problem where he's not able to kick much, I just think they'll probably assign one of the defenders to do the goal kicks, and he's pretty much a shot stopper in this game. So I don't see it being Scott Carlson. Well, he's the third choice, but as in Ortega or Scott Carlson, I don't expect them to start this game. So I'm going to go with Ederson. And then the back three, we're going to go for Guardiola on that side. And then we've got Diaz in the center. And it will be a Kanji. Stones is not available in this one. Otherwise, he would definitely have featured in this fixture. Actually, do you know what? I wouldn't play this Akanji there. I think Walker will play there on the right-hand side. And I think Akanji will play like an inverted midfielder or inverted centre-back because I feel like they'd want to play a double pivot and try and stop our midfield coming through, especially with the tactics that I'll explain for Liverpool in terms of how we set up as well. So why would I Walker twice? Akanji. So I think this will be a role we'll expect to see Rodri playing alongside him. One player that I feel like maybe should actually play that role instead would be Calvin Phillips. But I'll be very honest with you, I don't think Pep Guardiola trusts Calvin Phillips at all. He's barely featured this season. So I think he would prefer the likes of Akanji in this kind of formation. And also, there might be moments in the game where, let's say, City play a bit more defensively. They can always just drop to a back four as well. And then Akanji just drops in quickly. And then it becomes a 4-1-4-1 formation, which also could be a setup that I see transitioning depending on the result. So depending on the scoreline. So if Man City have taken the lead, I can easily see this being the formation that they play. Or if they need a bit more control, then you can go back to this formation and then just take it as the game goes on. So that would be, I think, the back three and the double pivot, in my opinion. And then I feel like because it's at home and City really need to get a result in this one, I think it's the same for Liverpool. Both teams would really want to get the upper hand on the other team because I think mentally it's an advantage for the other side, where a win in this fixture is just a mental lift. And I feel like it will be a big key going into upcoming games as well. So big moment for both teams here. In terms of the midfield four, advanced four, you want to say, I'd play Doku, who is going to cause havoc on that left-hand side. I don't see Grealish starting this fixture, but he will be a player that I see coming on later in the game. And then I'm going to go for Foden on the right-hand side. Now, in previous lineups that I've seen City play this season, you've normally had Bernardo Silva playing this deeper position alongside Rodri, which could also work as well. But I feel like in this fixture, you want Bernardo Silva a bit more further up, where he can really dictate play and make things happen and thread through balls to the attackers. So I would say it's going to be Bernardo Silva in this role here. And despite Alvarez also playing in South America, I feel like he'll still start in this fixture. So I'm going to go with Bernardo Silva and Alvarez as the two advanced 8s or 10s, however you want to call it there. Probably advanced 8s more like. I think they will be dropping deep when required. And up top, I do feel like Haaland will start in this fixture. He'll have a late fitness test tomorrow, I believe, but I feel like he will be ready for this game. So this is the shape that I see them starting with, to be honest with you. As I mentioned earlier on, they've switched their formation in certain games quite frequently. So they've done a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3. In this one, I can see them doing a transition depending on the scoreline. So it could always, like I mentioned, if they're taking the lead, it can be a 4-1-4-1 formation, or they can make it more of a solid formation and just do it as a 4-2-3-1. So you have Guardiola there, Akanji there, Diaz, and then Walker, and then you've got Rodri there. So they still might want to have a double pivot just to give them a bit of assurance rather than having a 4-1-4-1 formation. And then you've got these guys in position. So in terms of personnel, it's the same players, but because they're tactically so good and a lot of them are very adaptable playing in different roles, they can definitely change their shape during the game and it wouldn't have too much of an impact on the outcome. So for me, I feel like this could be the formation they're playing the second half, but I feel like the way they'll start the game will certainly be the formation that they've been playing predominantly this season, and then that's a 3-2-4-1 formation. So let me know what you guys think of the shape. Do you think it's the right thing in terms of how they're set up, or will we all be outsmarted by Pep and he'll come up with a completely random formation? It's a possibility. But in terms of the players, we're all familiar with these players. They are top quality players. But you've got the likes of Haaland obviously leading the line. So keeping him quiet will be a big key to our success in the game. But I'm confident seeing how Van Dijk has been performing the last few weeks. To be fair, the whole season he's been fantastic. So I have a lot of confidence in our centre-backs dealing with Haaland there. Bernardo Silva will be a tricky player. So whoever's playing the number 6 role will definitely need to press tight on him, make sure he doesn't get any influence on the game. Doku will be one that we really have to look out for. It might possibly be a thing where you've got the right-sided number 8 and the right back, so that could be possibly most likely to be Trent and Szoboszlai, teaming up against Doku to make sure he doesn't get any fun on that left-hand side. The key for Doku in this game will be not to just play as an out-and-out winger. In my opinion, I think if he cuts in and plays as an inside forward, he will definitely cause all sorts of headaches for the Liverpool defense line, because we all know he's an out-and-out winger and dribbling-wise, he's phenomenal. But if he adds a different unpredictable game to his play, it would definitely confuse us in terms of Liverpool. So showing a bit of unpredictable play in terms of going out wide but cutting in as well, because there might be a possibility that Trent plays an inverted role this fixture as well. So I think for him, the key will be to press on Trent as much as possible, keep him quiet so he doesn't have any influence in the game. So Doku will have a big role to play defensively, but obviously more importantly, more offensively as well. And then you've got Alvarez. For me, he's going to be the ghost, where he's going to roam around this kind of area, and he's phenomenal in this one, where when he gets the ball, he has a great short burst of speed. He'll just take one touch, and he's great at shooting from long range as well. So he's also one of those players where Haaland might attack the channels, and then you just have him as a fox in a box. So he's going to be key in terms of acquiring goals for Man City. Foden as well. You know, these guys can definitely interchange. So Alvarez can easily go wide, and Foden could be like a number 10 and be an influence on the game as well. Or he can just be an out-and-out winger, which is more than capable of doing. So in terms of attacking-wise, definitely a lot of danger men in terms of what they can possess. Rodri will be the destroyer, of course, but he's more than a destroyer. He's a good player on the ball as well. Akanji will just be that rock in the middle of the park, whether he plays in a double pivot or he drops as a centre back. His role is to block any challenges and try and stop the Liverpool attackers from having any joy in the final third. And then you've got the back three. Diaz, we all know, solid centre back. Kyle Walker as well, despite being a more experienced centre defender in that back line, he still has the pace and still has the recovery to take on players. So for me, he'll be key in terms of playing around this sort of area. If he needs to go out wide, he can do that and influence the game that way. Or if he needs to be a more of a defensive-minded centre back, he can do that as well. So, yeah, obviously a lot of danger coming from all parts of the Man City team there. But I'm confident in Liverpool, and I believe we have enough to cause trouble in this fixture. So let's go comment here from Ensman TV. Big up Oz. Big up to yourself, Ens. Thank you for tuning in and thank you for your comment. So now let's go on to the Liverpool lineup. So we'll take this one off, bring up the Liverpool graphic, and then we can talk about that formation as well. So safe to say in terms of for Liverpool, it'll be a 4-3-3. I don't expect Klopp changing the strategy. I don't expect him to play a back three. I don't expect him to play a 4-2-3-1, despite us actually playing that formation last season. I think it was a fixture against Man City at Anfield. So, you can't completely rule it out, but I feel like the way Liverpool been playing, I think we've gotten accustomed to the formation and the shape. So I don't think there'll be any surprises in terms of the formation being 4-3-3. Obviously, the key will be Trent in terms of being that inverted player. So that will definitely add some sort of uncertainty in terms of the opposition. But I feel like it's kind of half expected that Trent will play that role. So it's not a huge sort of big factor for City to deal with. In terms of Klopp, I think he's got a big decision in terms of his team selection due to the fact that the time slot has been a problem for us in the past. Maybe not so this season. We've managed to get some wins in this 12:30 kickoff, but this is Man City. This is a different kettle of fish that we're up against. So we have to be on top of our game. I know it's a difficult one because Klopp hasn't really trained with the players this week. Some of them returned today. I think some of them are returning tomorrow. So it won't be easy to kind of regroup and go from our last win, which was against Brentford. So yeah, in terms of the formation, I think it will be 4-3-3. For me, it's important for Trent to maintain his position and shape on that right-hand side as he's up against a live wire in Doku, who I mentioned previously. So let's fill in the gaps and let's add the players that I believe will be starting this game. So despite traveling with Brazil team, I think Alisson will start. So obviously we'll go for Alisson. Left back will still be Tsimikas, in my opinion. I don't see anyone else taking that role. Obviously, you wouldn't put a youngster like Luke Chambers there. Joe Gomez did not a great job, to be honest with you, in his last month in was against Luton. So Tsimikas had a good game in his last fixture. So I think that's the one that, hopefully he's giving him some confidence going forward because we do need him in the upcoming weeks. We've got a huge run of games. Robertson's not probably available until January. So, he's very, very important in terms of our upcoming fixtures. And as I've been mentioning quite a lot now, Trent Ozzie plays at right back there. And then the centre-back pairing, I'm going for Van Dijk, for obvious reasons. And his partner, from what I've heard, Konate is available in this fixture. I think he'll be having a late fitness test, but Klopp has reiterated that he is available for this one. However, I would still go with Matip. I think it's too soon to put Konate in a fixture where he's just come back from injury. And I feel like Matip has the experience playing these big games. So I feel like this would be the right selection for him to start in this game. In terms of the midfield three, it's a tricky one because I remember McAllister playing a 12:30 kickoff. I forgot who the opposition was, and he didn't have a great game. But who would Klopp go for? Would he go for McAllister as a 6 or Endo? Endo has shown a couple good performances in recent weeks, but is it enough to play him against one of the best countries in the one of the best teams in the country, if not Europe right now? So it's a tricky one. I'm going to go with McAllister. I just wish Thiago was available because he would have been fantastic in this fixture. But at this stage, that seems like wishful thinking right now. So I'm going to start with McAllister as a 6. And then 2 number 8s. Szoboszlai will be signed on the right side. Congratulations to him. His nation, Hungary, have qualified for the Euros. And then I saw a clip of him enjoying a little drink after the game, which was good to see. And then on the left-hand side, I'm going to go for Gravenberch. I believe he was close to fitness before the international break, so he should be available in this fixture. And I feel like this midfield would present a different challenge to Man City. You know, I mentioned that it could possibly be Rodri and Akanji as a double pivot. So then to have a ball carrier like Gravenberch and Szoboszlai against them would definitely be a different different sort of threat, especially Gravenberch being quite tall and gliding with the ball as well. I feel like he's really shown glimpses of his talent this season. So no, I think Gravenberch will be key, using his physical presence. Szoboszlai as well, for me, I really hope in this fixture he's looking at those half spaces and taking some long shots, because that could be the difference in getting the win in this fixture as well. So that's something I want him to do a bit more. He's shown glimpses of it in other games, but not as much as I would like. So in this kind of fixture, you know, the goal that comes to my mind is Oxlade-Chamberlain in the Champions League against City when he shot from distance. That's the kind of level I want to see from Szoboszlai in this game. So that'll be interesting. And then you've got McAllister as well. I know people keep banging on saying that, you know, it's not his role, but everywhere he goes, he plays as a number 6. So I guess he's gotten accustomed to that role now. And until we don't buy a renowned or bona fide number 6, he will be that guy right now. So that'll be our midfield three, in my opinion. And then up top is going to be a tricky one. Obviously, Salah selects himself, so I don't need to explain that one. These two positions are always tricky, I feel like, in any match preview that we do. I think, well, I would actually start with Gakpo in this one, despite Nunez having such a great international week, scoring for Uruguay. I feel like his role will be key, playing as a false 9. So as you can see, I've dropped him deeper there. And then I'd start with Jota in this game. So my reason being is because if City do play the 3-2-4-1 formation, their midfield is pretty much a box midfield. So I feel like if they've got a box midfield, we need to contest with them in terms of numbers. So Gakpo would be that advanced midfielder. So it ends up being like a diamond, which you can see right now. And then having him as an extra body in the middle of the park could be key in terms of competing like for like in midfield. So I feel like he'll play a good role, and especially in the first half as well. I don't expect this to be a very free-flowing game. It will definitely be a cagey affair to start off with, and I feel like once the teams have figured themselves out, you expect to see more counter attacks and that sort of play, because I don't think it's, in my opinion, I don't think this match is going to have a big scoreline. Liverpool improved a lot in terms of the midfield, so we are able to compete like for like, in my opinion. And in this fixture as well, you can see, maybe with this one, Gakpo goes up top and plays like a more traditional number 9, and then you've got Szoboszlai and Gravenberch as advanced 8s, and you can have McAllister dropping in that area, and then we'll have Trent coming in as well. And we've seen Joe Matip play on the right side as a back 3, and he's been comfortable. Only question mark will be this guy, Tsimikas. Is he able to do that job? From what I've seen, I would say no. So it's not one that I would be confident of doing, especially as we're the away team. So I would hope that this tactic is avoided, if I'm being brutally honest. So just playing our traditional back 4. Trent be more of an influence going up and down, or even coming a bit centrally on occasions, but predominantly is the fullback in this fixture. And if we're having trouble stopping the likes of Bernardo Silva and Alvarez, then we can always just shift it where Gravenberch drops a bit deeper, and then Szoboszlai has a bit more of a free role, which could be key in terms of starting counterattacks. So that would be quite an important tactic for me going forward. And then Mo Salah as well. I like him to be more of an inside forward rather than challenging Guardiola, because Guardiola has great recovery speed. So one-on-one, it might be tricky for him to bomb down that byline all day. So I feel like he needs to show a bit of variation. Kind of what I mentioned about Doku as well, where don't just be the outside winger all the time. Cut in as well, present unpredictability as well, and then or interchange. So Szoboszlai can go on that side, and then it's a different kind of opposition there, because Szoboszlai is not going to go toe for toe. He's going to stop the ball and whipping crosses, and then you're hoping Gakpo is at the end of it, and then you've got Jota on the far post there as well. So different tactics, and then you've got, so it ends up being where Salah has a bit more of a free role, and you've got these two up top as well. So just different variations in terms of how we can break City, which is definitely not an easy task, as we all know. But I'm confident in this team. They just came back from a draw against Chelsea, so confidence is not as high as it would have been in previous weeks. But I'd like to say it is a good time to play them. My only thing is the timing of the match is going to water down I feel like the impact of the game. If this was like a 5:30 kickoff or a Sunday match, I think we would have been seeing a different game altogether. But regardless, I'm still confident in this team in terms of how they do going forward. So these are my tactics. Let me know what you guys think. Do you relate in terms of what I'm saying, or do you feel like, some of my thoughts and different types of play won't happen? We'll see. Remains to be seen. Everyone's open to their opinion there. In terms of score prediction, I'm going to go for a Liverpool win, which is probably no surprise. But I think it's going to be such a cagey game. And I think it's just going to be a moment of brilliance from someone to open the scoreline. So I'm going for a 1-0 victory for Liverpool. And I'm going for Mo Salah as the goal scorer. I did have Szoboszlai in the back of my mind as well, but I think it'll be Mo Salah who gets the goal, as he normally steps up on these occasions. So that's my prediction there, and that's the wrap up of today's show. So thank you to everyone for tuning in. Thank you to Insman TV for your comment. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Unfortunately, I won't be able to do a match reaction straight after the game on Saturday, but I will be doing it on Sunday evening at 10 p.m. UK time. And plus, it's a calling show, guys. So feel free to hit the link whenever I post it on the description and jump on the show and have your say. Whatever the result, I'm pretty sure that there will be a lot of talking points. In terms of upcoming shows, we were planning on doing some FC24 content in the past few days, but due to some technical issues, I wasn't able to do so. So I'm planning on rescheduling it next week. So make sure to be on the lookout for that. So you know what to do, guys. Hit that notification bell, and then you'll be notified of any upcoming content. Plus, follow us on socials as well. You can follow me at Ozzie FTP on Twitter /X, however you want to call it. Or you can follow me at Ozzie.ftp on Instagram, Threads, and TikTok. So until next time, guys, take care, stay safe, and I hope to see you all very soon. Goodbye.